Study.com makes the most sense when you've already learned one important lesson. Not every college requirement can be finished on Sophia. You may clear several general education courses, transfer them into your degree, and watch your remaining requirements drop. Then you hit a wall. The course you need isn't available. Your major requires something more specialized. You need a business, education, history, information technology, or elective course that doesn't fit neatly into Sophia's catalog. That's when Study.com becomes interesting. But don't approach Study.com the same way you approach Sophia. The platforms aren't identical, and trying to force the same speed strategy onto both can waste time and money. Sophia is often attractive because students can move quickly through self-paced coursework, especially when a course has fewer assignment bottlenecks. Study.com is generally more structured. The College Credit Playbook describes its courses as using video lessons, quizzes, assignments, or projects in applicable courses, and proctored final exams. It also positions Study.com as especially useful for upper-level electives and specialized subjects in areas such as business, education, and information technology. That difference changes the plan. If Sophia is where you clear broad requirements quickly, Study.com may be where you start filling specific holes. And specific holes are exactly what we're looking for. Open your degree evaluation. By now, that should sound familiar. Look at what remains after you've identified the Sophia courses your school can use. Maybe you still need an organizational leadership course. Maybe you need business law. Maybe your information technology program has an open elective that could potentially be filled by a database, networking, or systems course. Maybe your education program has a requirement that Sophia simply doesn't offer. Don't open Study.com and start browsing because the catalog looks impressive. Start with the whole. Then search for the course. This is where Study.com's larger range of subjects can become useful. The manuscript specifically presents the platform as a supplement when Sophia doesn't offer a needed course, with stronger coverage for upper-level electives and subjects in business, IT, and education. The word supplement matters. You don't have to be loyal to a credit provider. Sophia doesn't care if you take a Study.com course. Study.com doesn't care if you completed 30 credits somewhere else. Your university cares whether the credits meet its transfer policy and your degree requirements. That's the relationship that matters. Students sometimes turn alternative credit into a platform competition. Which one is better? Sophia or Study.com? Study.com or Straighterline? CLEP or Sophia? That's the wrong question. A hammer is better than a screwdriver when you need to drive a nail. That doesn't make the screwdriver useless. The better question is which tool fits the requirement you're trying to complete. If Sophia offers an approved course that directly fills a requirement and you can complete it efficiently under your subscription, use Sophia. If Sophia doesn't offer what you need but Study.com has a course your university will apply to that exact requirement, Study.com may be the better tool. If your nursing program requires a laboratory science and your school's transfer policy points toward another provider, follow that path. The platform follows the degree plan. The degree plan does not follow the platform. Study.com's course structure also means you need to pay more attention to pacing. A typical course may use short lessons followed by quizzes. That sounds simple, and the individual lessons can make a large subject feel more manageable. Instead of staring at one enormous unit, you're moving through smaller concepts and checking your understanding along the way. For some students, that's a much better learning experience. You watch or review a lesson. You complete the quiz. You move forward. The checkpoints create structure. This can be particularly useful if you're returning to college after years away from school or if completely open self-paced learning causes you to procrastinate. Some students thrive when they're given maximum freedom. Other students open a self-paced course, tell themselves they'll work on it tomorrow, and suddenly 3 weeks have passed. Study.com's structure can help create momentum. But more structure can also mean more steps between enrollment and completed credit. That's why you should inspect the course before building an aggressive completion timeline. Does the course include assignments? Are there projects? How is the final grade calculated? What score do you need? What are the current exam and proctoring requirements? How many credit-bearing exams are included in your current plan? What happens if you want to complete additional exams during the same billing period? Those aren't small details. They affect cost. The College Credit Playbook specifically warns that Study.com's pricing strategy can become more complicated when students move beyond the number of exams included in their subscription arrangement. The manuscript describes extra proctoring or exam costs as a limitation for students trying to accelerate through many courses in 1 month. Because platform pricing and plan terms can change, check Study.com's current terms before subscribing. Don't build a budget from an old screenshot, an old blog post, or even an older edition of a book. The strategy is what matters. Know the included limits. Know the extra costs. Then calculate the real price per useful course. Let's say you identify 4 Study.com courses that may fit your degree. Your first instinct might be to finish all 4 as quickly as possible. Slow down long enough to do the math. If your current plan includes a certain number of credit-bearing exams during the billing period and additional exams cost extra, completing all 4 immediately may change the total cost. That doesn't automatically make it a bad decision. An additional exam fee may still be dramatically cheaper than university tuition. But you should know you're making that decision. Acceleration works best when the cost is intentional. Compare the actual options. What would the course cost at your university? What would it cost through Study.com under your current plan? Will your school apply the course to the exact requirement? Will completing it now shorten your degree timeline? Is there another approved provider offering the same equivalent at a lower total cost? These are the questions that turn alternative credit into a financial strategy instead of an online course shopping spree. Now let's talk about assignments. This is another place where students who are used to moving quickly through objective assessments can get frustrated. If a Study.com course includes a paper or project, read the assignment requirements early. Not after you finish every lesson. Early. You want to know what's coming. Suppose you're working through a business course and the assignment requires you to apply several concepts from the course to a scenario. If you've already read the instructions, you'll recognize useful material while completing the lessons. A concept appears. You realize it may fit the project. You make a note. Another lesson gives you a second useful idea. You make another note. By the time you're ready to work on the assignment, you aren't staring at a blank document trying to remember an entire course. You've been gathering material as you go. This is basic planning, but it changes the experience. The same principle works for courses involving larger projects. Review the rubric. Understand how the assignment is graded. Identify the required components. Then let the course content help you build toward the submission. Don't treat the project like a surprise obstacle at the end. The course has already told you what it wants. Use that information. This is one reason the manuscript describes Study.com as potentially stronger for students who want more structured accountability and knowledge retention. The additional checkpoints can slow a pure speed run, but they may also force you to interact with the material more consistently. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. Not every course should be treated as something to eliminate from your degree as quickly as possible. If you're studying information technology and the course covers a subject you'll use in your career, learn it. If you're completing business law because your future work involves compliance, contracts, or healthcare administration, pay attention. If you're taking an education course directly connected to the work you plan to do, don't brag about finishing without remembering anything. Saving money is useful. Graduating faster is useful. Knowing what you're doing after graduation is also useful. The smart acceleration strategy isn't to rush every course equally. It's to recognize which courses are foundational and which requirements are less central to your future work. You may move quickly through a general elective that has little connection to your career. Then deliberately spend more time on a database course because your future job may expect you to understand database concepts. That's not failing to accelerate. That's using your time intelligently. For students in business, Study.com may become useful when the degree moves beyond broad general education and into requirements Sophia doesn't cover. The manuscript specifically points towards subjects such as marketing, organizational behavior, and other business electives as areas where Study.com may supplement a Sophia first plan. For information technology students, the same strategy can apply to specialized subjects such as systems analysis, networking, and databases, depending on the receiving school's current equivalencies. For healthcare administration or health information management students, Study.com may offer possible courses in organizational leadership, business law, compliance-related areas, or IT systems. Again, possible is the important word. Your program decides whether those courses fit. This is where people make another major mistake. They find the perfect course title. The title looks almost identical to the requirement on their degree evaluation. They assume it's a match. Don't do that. A course called business law doesn't automatically replace every university course called business law. A database course doesn't automatically satisfy your program's database requirement. An organizational behavior course may transfer as an elective instead of a direct major equivalent. The title is a clue. The equivalency is the answer. Go back to your school's transfer information. Check established equivalencies. Look at transfer databases if your school provides them. Contact the appropriate office when the placement isn't clear. Ask the same question we've been using throughout this series: if this course is accepted, which exact requirement in my degree program will it satisfy? Then save the answer. If you identify 2 useful Study.com courses, you now have a focused plan. You don't need the entire catalog. You need those 2 courses. Before subscribing, look at the structure of both. Review the lessons, assignment expectations, and current exam policies. Estimate how much time you can realistically give the coursework during the billing period. Then decide whether you want to work on one course at a time or use a staggered strategy. A staggered strategy may make sense when one course includes an assignment that needs additional work. You can make progress on the second course while continuing the first, depending on the platform's current enrollment rules and your ability to manage both without turning your desk into chaos. But don't confuse having multiple courses open with making progress. 5 browser tabs aren't 5 completed requirements. Track the actual work. How many lessons remain? Which quizzes are complete? Is there an assignment? Has the assignment been submitted? Is the course ready for its final exam? Has the exam been completed? Has the credit recommendation been earned? Has the transcript or credit record been sent? Has the university posted the credit? A course isn't finished for degree planning purposes when you close the final lesson. It's finished when the credit reaches your degree and lands where expected. That last step is the one people forget. They complete a course and immediately move to the next platform. Months later, they realize they never followed the required transcript process or never checked whether the university applied the credit correctly. Track the transfer. Your worksheet should show the entire path from requirement to completed transfer. Degree requirement. Provider. Course. Expected equivalency. Completion date. Transcript sent. Credit posted. Requirement satisfied. That's your system. And yes, it sounds less exciting than a video claiming you can earn 30 credits in 30 days. But systems are how you make sure the 30 credits actually count. Study.com can also be useful later in a degree plan because the remaining requirements often become more specific as you move closer to graduation. Early in college, students may have broad spaces to fill. A social science requirement might accept several different courses. A humanities category may offer multiple options. Near the end of a degree, the holes can become narrower. One specific course. One upper-level elective. One business requirement. One technical subject. This is where a broader catalog becomes more valuable. You're no longer looking for 20 possible courses. You're looking for the one course that fits the last open box. If Study.com has it and your university accepts it for that requirement, the platform may save you from waiting for another university term just to complete one class. Think about the timeline. Suppose your university course is only offered during certain terms. Missing the registration window could delay graduation. If an approved alternative equivalent is available and your school allows the transfer, completing that requirement elsewhere may protect your graduation date. That's a very different kind of savings. The tuition difference matters. But the time difference may matter more. Delaying graduation by one term can mean months before you qualify for a job requiring the completed degree. It can delay graduate school applications. It can affect promotions or professional plans. A strategically chosen transfer course can sometimes remove a scheduling bottleneck. That's why you need to look at your degree several terms ahead. Don't wait until your final semester to discover one requirement isn't being offered when you need it. Review the remaining courses. Look at prerequisites. Look at the university schedule. Identify possible bottlenecks. Then research approved alternatives early. Study.com is not automatically the answer, but it may be one of the options. The College Credit Playbook ultimately recommends a mixed platform strategy. Use Sophia for general education and lower-level requirements where it fits, then pivot to Study.com for specialized gaps that Sophia doesn't cover. That's the strategy one want you to remember. Sophia first doesn't mean Sophia forever. Study.com next doesn't mean every remaining course belongs on Study.com. You move provider by provider, requirement by requirement. The moment a platform stops helping your degree, you stop using it. No loyalty. No random credits. No taking a course because an influencer said it was easy. Find the hole. Verify the match. Calculate the cost. Understand the course structure. Complete the work. Transfer the credit. Check the degree evaluation. Then move again. That's how Study.com fits into a fast-track degree plan. It isn't Sophia with different branding. It isn't a magic catalog where every course becomes university credit. It's a more structured tool that can become extremely useful when your degree starts asking for courses your first provider doesn't offer. And once you understand that, the question isn't whether Study.com is better than Sophia. The question is much simpler. What requirement do you still need, and which verified path gets it off your degree plan for the least reasonable cost and time? That's the game. The next chapter moves into straighter line, where science, mathematics, and prerequisite planning become much more important, especially for students looking at nursing, allied health, and programs with specific course requirements.